Hello, Virgo. Stop scrolling right now. Just stop. Because what I'm about to tell you, what's coming through in the energy around you, what's been building in spaces you haven't even been paying attention to, it's going to shift something in you. Not just your circumstances, not not just your external reality, but something deeper, something in how you see possibility, something in what you allow yourself to believe can actually happen for you. Stay with me because I know you've learned to be careful with hope. I know you've trained yourself not to expect too much because expecting hurts when things don't work out. I know you've gotten used to managing your desires, tempering your dreams, telling yourself to be realistic. But what if realistic isn't actually accurate? What if what you think is possible is actually smaller than what's actually available to you? What if there's something building right now, something you're not even focused on, something you've maybe even stopped hoping for, and it's about to manifest in ways that completely surprise you? Have you been feeling this? This strange sense that something's different even though nothing obvious has changed? Let me know in the comments if this is already resonating, because here's what I keep picking up on. You have dreams, real dreams, not just casual wishes or passing thoughts, but deep desires that live in your chest, things you've wanted for so long that you've almost stopped admitting you want them. Maybe you stopped talking about them because people told you to be more practical. Maybe you stopped thinking about them because disappointment hurts. Maybe you stopped believing they could happen because time kept passing and nothing changed. But the dream, it never actually died. It just went quiet. It moved to the background. It stopped demanding your attention every single day. And you convinced yourself that was maturity, that was growth, that was you being realistic and grounded and accepting life as it is, instead of wishing for what might never be. But what if it wasn't acceptance? What if it was just exhaustion? Exhaustion from hoping without seeing results. Exhaustion from believing without receiving evidence. Exhaustion from staying open when everything in your experience was teaching you to close. Does this feel true? Drop a comment if you're recognizing this pattern. Because here's what's actually happening right now. In this present moment, while you've been focused on other things, that dream you stopped actively pursuing, it's moving. That desire you released because holding it was too painful, it's building. That outcome you decided was probably never going to happen, it's aligning in ways you can't see yet. And the reason you can't see it, the reason you're not tracking it, the reason this is going to be such a surprise is because it's not happening the way you thought it would. It's not following the path you mapped out. It's not requiring the specific steps you imagined. It's not showing up in the form you were expecting. It's coming from a completely different direction, through doors you weren't watching, in ways that don't match your previous assumptions about how this could possibly work. And that's exactly why it's going to work, because you're not interfering with it. You're not trying to control it. You're not forcing it to fit into your limited understanding of what's possible. You've surrendered it. Not because you stopped caring, but because you got tired of the grip. And that surrender, it created space for the universe to actually deliver it in the way it's meant to arrive. Let me say that again because it's important. When you're desperately clinging to a specific outcome, when you're hyper focused on making something happen a certain way, when you're trying to control every variable, you actually block the very thing you're trying to create, because you're so busy forcing one path that you miss the 10 other paths that could lead to the same destination. You're so focused on one door that you don't notice the windows opening all around you. But when you release the grip, when you stop obsessing over the how, when you let go of trying to make it happen your way, that's when magic can occur. That's when unexpected paths can reveal themselves. That's when things can come together in ways that surpass what you could have orchestrated on your own. And that's exactly what's happening for you right now. Have you noticed yourself caring less about something you used to obsess over? Let me know in the comments, because here's what I'm sensing about this specific dream that's about to manifest. It's something significant. It's not a minor wish or a small preference. This is something that would genuinely change your life. Something that would shift your daily reality in visible, tangible ways. Something that would make you feel like finally, something you've been hoping for is actually real. And it might be about love. About meeting someone whose energy matches yours in ways you'd stopped believing were possible. Someone who shows up without you having to chase, convince, or perform. Or it might be about opportunity, about a door opening professionally that seemed permanently closed, about recognition for work you've been doing quietly, about advancement that seemed reserved for other people. Or it might be about healing, about a relationship that's been broken suddenly finding its way back to wholeness, about reconciliation that seemed impossible, about forgiveness that felt too far gone. Or it might be about abundance, about resources showing up when you need them, about financial relief after struggle, about support manifesting from unexpected sources. Or it might be about relocation, about the place you've been dreaming of living becoming accessible, about circumstances aligning to make a move possible, about a fresh start in a location that's been calling you. I don't know the specific details of your dream, but you do. And whatever it is, it's closer than you think. Does one of these resonate, or is your dream something else entirely? Comment below and let me know. Because here's what I need you to understand about the timing of this. When I say unexpected, when I say you don't see this coming, I'm not just talking about the what, I'm talking about the when. You've probably made peace with the idea that maybe this dream happens eventually, maybe someday, maybe years from now when conditions are different. But what if it's not years from now? What if it's soon? What if the gap between where you are now and where that dream becomes reality is shorter than you've been assuming? What if you've been preparing for a long wait when actually the manifestation is right around the corner, and that's why it's going to surprise you? Not just because it happens, but because of how quickly it shifts from maybe someday to, oh my God, this is actually happening. Because sometimes dreams don't unfold gradually. Sometimes they don't give you months of lead time to prepare. Sometimes they just arrive suddenly, completely, in ways that make you realize you were closer to having them than you knew. And you're in that space right now, that close but can't quite see it yet space, where if you could see the full picture, if you could see all the pieces that are currently moving into place, if you could see how close everything actually is to aligning, you'd be shocked. Have you been feeling restless lately? Like something's about to shift, but you can't name what? Let me know in the comments, because I want to talk about what makes something a dream come true versus just a nice thing that happens. It's not just about getting what you want. It's about getting what you want in a way that feels meaningful, significant, aligned. It's about the timing being right, the circumstances being right, you being right for it. Because here's the thing, you could have had versions of this dream before, earlier, when you were first hoping for it, but you weren't ready then. You weren't the person who could sustain it. You would have approached it from need instead of wholeness, from desperation instead of readiness, and it probably would have worked out differently than you hoped because you were different than you are now. But you've grown since then, you've healed, you've done work on yourself that you might not even fully recognize. You've released patterns that would have sabotaged this. You've built boundaries that will protect it. You've developed awareness that will allow you to actually appreciate it. And now you're ready. Not perfect, not completely healed, not without fears or doubts, but ready enough, grounded enough, clear enough, ready to receive this dream in a way that actually serves your growth instead of derailing it. And that's why it's happening now. Not because you've suffered enough to earn it, not because you've waited long enough to deserve it, but because you've become someone who can actually sustain it. Does this resonate with the growth you've been doing? Drop a comment if this feels aligned. Because here's what else I'm sensing about this manifestation. It's not going to require you to force it. It's not going to demand that you prove yourself or chase it or convince anyone of anything. It's going to feel natural, easy, like it was meant to be this way all along. And that ease might actually be disorienting at first because you're so used to struggling for things, so used to having to work hard, push through resistance, overcome obstacles. So when something just flows, when it comes together without drama, without difficulty, without you having to fight for it, you might not trust it at first. You might wait for the catch. You might question whether it's real because it doesn't match your previous experience of how good things enter your life. But that's old programming. That's the belief that you have to earn good things through struggle. And it's not true. Sometimes good things just happen because you're aligned, because the timing is right, because you've done the internal work that creates the space for external ease. And this dream, it's going to be one of those times where you look back and think, I can't believe that actually worked out. I can't believe it was that simple. I can't believe I get to have this. And the simplicity, the ease, the naturalness of it, that's not a sign that it's not real or that it won't last. That's a sign that you've finally reached a level of alignment where receiving can be graceful instead of forced. Have you been noticing things flowing more easily in small ways? Let me know in the comments, because I want to address what might be your biggest block to receiving this. The belief that you don't deserve it, that wanting this much is selfish, that other people have it worse, so you should be grateful for what you have instead of hoping for more. And I need you to hear this clearly. Wanting your dreams to manifest is not selfish. Hoping for good things is not ungrateful. Believing you deserve positive experiences is not arrogant. You're allowed to want what you want. You're allowed to hope it happens. You're allowed to be excited when it does. You don't have to shrink your desires to make other people comfortable. You don't have to diminish your happiness to prove you're humble. You don't have to reject good things to show you're not greedy. You can just receive fully, joyfully, without guilt. And when this dream manifests, when it becomes real, when you're living the reality you used to only imagine, you don't have to qualify it. You don't have to explain why you deserve it. You don't have to make yourself smaller to make it acceptable. You can just be happy. You can just celebrate. You can just let yourself have it. Does this permission feel necessary for you right now? Comment below if you needed to hear this, because here's what I really want you to take from this reading. Something you've stopped actively hoping for is about to become real. Not because you manifested it perfectly, not because you followed specific steps, not because you believed hard enough or visualized clearly enough or did all the right things, but because you let go of controlling it, because you surrendered the how, because you became someone who could receive it. And when it shows up, when it reveals itself, when you realize that this thing you'd released is actually happening, you're going to cry or laugh or just stand there in disbelief, because it's going to hit you how close you came to giving up on this completely, how close you came to deciding it was never going to happen, how close you came to closing that door in your heart permanently. But you didn't. Something in you kept it alive. Some small part of you refused to completely let it die. And that part, that stubborn, hopeful, refusing to completely surrender part, it was right. The dream was always real. The possibility was always there. The path was always forming. You just couldn't see it yet. But you're about to. So stay open, stay present, stay available for surprise, because your dream, it's coming. From a direction you're not watching, in a form you're not expecting, at a time you didn't predict, but it's coming. And when it arrives, you're going to remember why you hoped in the first place. I don't sell futures, I build architects. No predictions, just the raw truth for the tough ones. Stay magic, stay in the now.